Hey, what's up guys? Today, I'll show you a horror film, Ouija. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. At the beginning of the movie, a young girl, Debbie, and her friend, Lane, is playing on the Ouija board, which is a board used to communicate with spirits. She introduces Lane to the 3 important rules of playing the board. The rules are to never play the board alone, never play in a graveyard, and always say goodbye after playing. She then lets Lane use the planchette to see if there is a ghost around. The planchette is believed to be the eye to the other side. Lane peeps through the planchette, and she gets startled after seeing a figure, which turns out to be her sister. In response, Debbie tells Lane to calm down since it is only a game. In the present day, Debbie is already a teenager, and she recalls that childhood moment as she's about to burn the board. After that, she says goodbye to the board. She burns the board, and as she watches it slowly turn into ashes, Lane arrives outside their house. Lane is trying to check on her. Apparently, Debbie is acting strangely last time. In response, she says that she played with the board, but she stops talking further about it. It seems that Debbie has a strange experience with the board, prompting her to burn it. Later, Debbie is eating when she experiences strange movements in their house. She walks upstairs, and to her surprise, the Ouija board is back in her room. She takes a peek at the planchette, and a spirit possesses her. The possessed Debbie takes the light cord, and she hangs herself to death using it. After some time, Lane sets a meeting with her boyfriend, Trevor, and her bestie named Lady Bro. As they enjoy hanging out around, Lane receives a message from his father. She immediately comes home, and her family informs her that Debbie is gone. With heavy hearts, the 3 friends attend the wake of Debbie. There they meet another friend, Pete, who is also mourning her death. Lane walks upstairs to see Debbie's room to reminisce about her life. There she sees Debbie's mother, who is crying out of sadness. The two talk about Debbie's future plans, which unfortunately she can no longer do. Debbie's mother hands over Debbie's belongings to Lane as a remembrance of their friendship. After that, Debbie's mother asks Lane to watch over their house, since she will be gone for a while. The following day, Lane and Trevor visit Debbie's house to check it. While Trevor is outside, Lane hears a movement upstairs, and she goes up to see if there is someone. There, she finds the planchette and the Ouija board. This makes her remember that she used to play it with Debbie when they were young. She then tells the story of Trevor. As they talk about it, she suddenly realizes that she has many questions for Debbie, but now she does not have the chance to ask them, since Debbie is already gone. At the same time, she doesn't even have a chance to say goodbye to Lane. The next day, Lane encounters Pete at their school. Lane asks Pete anything strange about Debbie's behavior before she died. He says that Debbie seemed to be worried about something, but she refuses to share it with him. Lane seems to be looking for answers to why Debbie killed herself. She also feels that Debbie is still with them, so she thinks that she and her friends can play the Ouija board to communicate with Lane for one last time. And through that, she can finally bid goodbye to her best friend Debbie. Her friends feel strange about her idea, but they decide to just go along with her. At night, Lane with her sister and the friends goes back to Debbie's house to play the Ouija board. Lane gets the board upstairs, and they begin to set it up on the table. Lane then reiterates the rules, and they start playing the board. They put their hands on the planchette, and they circle it through the board. Lane calls upon the presence of a spirit near them. To their surprise, the planchette voluntarily moves to the letter Y, signaling that there is a spirit near them. The planchette proceeds to move through the letters until the "Hi friend" phrase appears. They ask about the identity of the spirit, and the planchette points to the letters D and Z. This makes them believe that the spirit must be Debbie. Lane asks the board if Debbie really did kill herself, and there is a sudden movement in the ceiling. They then bid goodbye to Debbie, and the lights turn off out of nowhere. Lane and Trevor wander around to check the lights, and they find every light is off. Lane walks into the kitchen, and surprisingly, the stove is open, prompting her to think that Debbie's spirit is around. Meanwhile, Pete walks around, and he suddenly sees a figure of a woman in the mirror. Out of nowhere, a force pushes him, forcing his hand to involuntarily break the mirror. The commotion alerts everyone, and they check on him. After the creepy events, they decide to immediately leave the house. Lane brings the board to her house, and she tells Trevor that she feels Debbie is trying to tell her something. In response, Trevor advises her to move on, since she already bids goodbye to Debbie. The following day, Trevor passes through a dark and isolated tunnel when he suddenly experiences something creepy. He turns on his flashlight and checks if there is someone around. The cart suddenly moves, and he sees the phrase, "Hi friend," written on the tunnel wall. At night, Lady Bro is about to go home from work. She walks to her car, and to her surprise, the "Hi friend" phrase is written through the dust on the window. As she approaches it, a hand from inside the car instantly wipes it out. She checks the car, and she finds no one there. She then calls Pete, who also has a strange experience. Apparently, Pete also finds the same phrase written on his table. Meanwhile, Lane and her sister are alone at their home when their door suddenly opens and a gush of wind enters inside. Out of nowhere, a force slams the door, prompting them to run back to the room. After that, a loud knock at the door startles both of them, and they hide inside the closet. The two just stay silent. After some time, Lane walks out to check the situation. There is no one outside, but she finds the Hi Friend phrase on her laptop. The following day, they realize that all of them find the strange Hi Friend phrase. Lane suggests that Debbie might be trying to say something to them. So at night, they go back to Debbie's house, and they play the board again in an attempt to communicate with her. To begin the game, they circle the planchette throughout the board, and they utter the opening line. After that, they ask for the presence of a spirit inside the house, and the vacant chair on the table moves back in response, signaling that there is a spirit near them. A force then pushes their hands out of the planchette, but they continue playing again. They think that it must be Debbie, so they ask if Debbie really killed herself. In response, the board answers no, so they ask if there is someone trying to hurt her, and the board answers yes. Pete asks the board if Debbie can remember the time when they went to the canyon, and the board answers yes. Pete tells everyone that the spirit must not be Debbie, since he never brought her to the canyon. As a response, they ask about the identity of the spirit. The board indicates that the spirit is DZ. They ask DZ if Debbie ever contacted her, and it answers yes. To confirm if there is a spirit, Lane peeps at the planchette, allowing her to see a ghost of a girl with a shut mouth. After that, the planchette moves around the board, instructing them to run since the mother is coming. Lane takes a look again, and she sees the girl ghost pointing at the other side. As she takes a look at the other side, she sees the angry ghost mother approaching them. The board flips out of the table, scaring the shit out of everyone. They instantly run outside of the house and manage to escape. However, Lane's sister worries that they will suffer the same fate as Debbie, since they also played the game. The following day, Lane finds footage where Debbie finds an old Ouija board in the attic of their house. There, Debbie played the game alone, which violates the rules of the game. While playing the game, Debbie also received a Hi Friend message through the board. At night, Lady Bro peacefully drives back to her home. She goes to the bathroom to clean herself up. As she flosses herself in the mirror, she suddenly sees her mouth being stitched in the reflection. She tries to scream for help, but the stitches are preventing her from uttering a word. Her eyes turn white, while a strange force drags her up and drops her down. Her head hits the sink, causing her to die instantly. The following day, Lane and her friends receive the news that Lady Bro died last night. Lane suggests going back to Debbie's house to investigate the spirit. Trevor is reluctant to help, since he believes that the spirit is trying to haunt all of them. Lane then convinces Pete to help her, and he agrees. Later, the two go to Debbie's house. There, Lane checks the attic, only to find a family photo of a mother and her two daughters. She finds it in the box, which seems to contain the old files of the house. She hands it over to Pete, so they can check it further. In the box, they find more photos of the old family that seems to be related to the house. Pete takes a look at the archives, and he finds an article about the missing girl. They realize that the missing girl in the article is the same girl in the family photo. The missing girl is named Doris Zander, which matches the identity of the spirit on the Ouija board. They continue to read the article, and it says that the police suspect the mother is responsible for the disappearance of Doris. After reading the article, Lane and Pete realize that Doris' sister named Paulina must still be alive. They figure out that Paulina is taken to a psychiatric hospital. They visit Paulina to ask a question about Doris and the spirits in the house. She believes that there is more than one spirit present in the house. She then reveals that their mother has connections with the spirit, and at one point, she needed to give voice to the spirits. She says their mother used Doris as a vessel to give voice to the spirit, allowing their mother to communicate with the spirits. But their mother was corrupted by the spirits, prompting their mother to stitch Doris' mouth and kill her to stop the spirits from talking. Paulina then figures out that Lane must have awakened the spirits in the house after playing the game in a graveyard. It turns out Doris' corpse is in the secret basement of the house. So Paulina says that Lane and her friends made a connection with the spirits. To stop the connection, Paulina instructs them to find the corpse of Doris underneath the house, and they must remove the stitches from Doris' mouth. In this way, Doris can deal with the spirit of their mother. Later, Lane and her friends gather, and they walk down the basement of the house to find the corpse. As they search through the basement, the figure of the mother appears, and it instantly drags Trevor back to the other side. Pete follows him, and the door suddenly closes, separating them from Lane and her sister. Lane finds the corpse of Doris, and she slowly cuts the stitches from its mouth. The mother tries to stop her, but she proceeds anyway. The spirit of Doris is released, and it releases a loud scream, causing the mother to disappear. After that, the situation settles down, and they leave the house peacefully. At night, Pete finds the spirit of Doris in his room. The spirit possesses him, causing his eyes to turn white and his mouth to be stitched. The possession leads to Pete's death. The following day, Lane and her friends receive the news. Lane goes back to Paulina, asking why the spirits are still haunting her friends. Paulina just smirks at her, making her realize that Paulina tricks them into releasing the evil spirits. It turns out the spirit of Doris is the evil one, while their mother is only trying to protect Lane and her friends from releasing it. Lane seeks help from her grandmother, who advises them to destroy the board and the corpse at the same time, since it connects the spirit to Lane and her friends. At night, Trevor, Lane, and her sister go back to Debbie's house to follow the grandmother's advice. Trevor is left outside when the spirit appears and drowns him in the pool. Inside, Lane and her sister are looking for Trevor, but they find him only in a spirit form. They proceed to the basement with the board. There, they are setting up the fire, when the spirit instantly drags Lane's sister back to the other side of the basement. The spirit of Doris appears, and she attempts to stitch her mouth. Knowing this, Lane plays with the board to get Doris' attention. In a few moments, Doris holds Lane's hand and attempts to possess her. As the situation seems dire for Lane, the spirit of Debbie reappears and stops Doris from possessing Lane. This gives enough time for Lane's sister to cast Doris' corpse into the fire. As the corpse is burning, Lane also throws the board into the fire. The spirit of Doris screams in agony, and it eventually vanishes. After some time, the sister recollects her moments with her friends, who are already gone. In the end, the planchette reappears in the pictures, indicating that the spirit is not yet done haunting them. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.